same process. So you can select archive and select, older than how many months as well. In this case, we're not going to archive our calendar right now. So make sure you put it free or busy. And then if you want to add people to give permissions to give them access to your calendar so they can do stuff with it. So if they're your secretary or somebody that you want to give, you can add them and then select them from the address book. Say I want to give Tyrone access, or I would probably search for with his last name probably. And then click on the name and click add, click OK. And I want to add him to edit my calendar. So now he can edit your calendar and change appointments on your calendar for you. Okay, so we're going to cancel that. I'm not going to give him access now. Another thing is, an important detail that we're going to go through is, so we're going to go with scheduling a meeting, right? So I want to see the work week. I want to schedule a meeting for, say, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, okay? I'm going to double click. I'm going to invite some people. I'm going to invite one person. I'm going to invite my manager, Tyrone. Now, if you notice a few things here, I'm just going to move this bar out of the way. And on the right-hand side, it'll actually show you when he's available throughout that day. And you can select, so 4 to 4:30, he's available, 4:30 to 5. And I'll show you how to change your increments of time on your calendar. So instead of having half an hour increments, make it 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. That way you can have more details on your calendar. I'll show you that later. Now, there's no conflict for 4 to 4:30, which is great. Now, I want to book a room as well. Now, it's select, so you click on rooms, and it'll show you all the rooms that we have. Saga, Liberty, Dallas, Chicago. So, I want to take the Sites room. Now, it's a very busy room. Now, when you select the room that you want, on the right-hand side, it'll tell you when they're available too, if there's any conflicts. So there's no rooms there, so the only available time is 4 to 4:30. Perfect, because that's the time I want to be with Tyrone. So we select that, so it's good to go. We've added that. Now, let's just say we have multiple people, because it's hard to look at everybody on the right here like that. But one person is all right. Multiple people, we probably want to have a different view of, so I want to add more people. Add you. I want to add myself. I want to add, actually forget about Navdeep since we're using his laptop. We'll add, say, anyone else. So we'll just add David. So here's a bunch of people with the room. Now, the best way I would say to show this would be the scheduling assistant at the top here. Click on scheduling assistant, and it'll show all their calendars during that time. So if they're not busy, or if they're busy, so if they're not busy, it's gray. If they're busy, then it's blue. So basically, it's not good for 2 of the people that are noted on this list. So we're going to have to change the time. Now, if somebody is not working, it'll actually tell you on the right-hand side here that the working hours are not available for this person because they're not working. And I'll show you how to set up your own working hours in the calendar, so people know that you're only working from 8 to 4. That they realize that after 4 o'clock, I'm not available to work. So they're going to have to find another time. And we'll show you that in just a moment. Now, let's just say I want to have a reoccurring meeting. I want to have this meeting every once a week, or once a month, or once a day. Click on the reoccurrence, and you can specify based on your options here whether you want it once a week, or select the days you want. And if you want to have it indefinitely, you can do that. If you want it after 10 reoccurrences, or an end date. You can go through these options and experiment. And you can have the duration of the times. Okay. Now, okay, so we're going to go back to the PowerPoint presentation here, just to double check. We're on the right track. Okay, schedule the meetings. Good. We're at that. And so we're going to show you how to, now in your calendar, let's go back to the meetings, right? So we're just going to close this out. Let's move this out of the way. We don't want to save. Oops, I may have to close my Outlook. Nope, I didn't. Perfect. Okay. Now, we want to make sure that people realize that my working hours are from 8 to 4, Monday to Friday. You go to File on your screen, you go to Options, you go to your calendar, and in the work time, working hours, my working hours apparently here are 8 to 5. And you can change that and you can select the days you want. So when you send out an invitation to someone, they have the options are either accept, tentative, or decline. So tentative means they'll stay in their calendar, and they'll be able to accept it later. When they accept your email, it'll show up in their calendar right away. Or if they decline, it'll automatically go to their deleted folder. So if they want it, they either send you a message saying, "Can you resend it to me?" or they can go to their deleted folder, pull out their calendar. Their invitation and accept it. So I'm just going to go back to the PowerPoint presentation here. If there's anything, questions later on regarding that, we can go through it as well. So setting up reminders as well. Okay. So actually, before we go forward with that, I'm just going to go back to say say you're sending an invitation, right? And say this person isn't in the same time zone as you. Say we have Dallas, right? They're in Central Time. You can specify the time zone you want this meeting to be in for the user. So you click on time zone, and you want it in, say, Central Time, and you want to put their time. That way when they see it, they realize, oh, okay, it's 9 Eastern and not 9 Central. That way they're not late for your meeting or too early for your meeting, depending on where you are. That way you want to make sure they're aware that you're saying Eastern Time. You're not saying Central Time. If you say 9 Central, one of you is not going to be there. Let's just put it that way. Okay. So another thing we want to do is...
So if you do that, and you send the invitation, and it's Central Time, Eastern Time, rather, is it still going to show in your calendar?
Yeah, yeah, it's showing in my calendar, and it'll adjust. It'll show them that it's in the time that you want them, in the time zone that you want them to be in. So when I send them Eastern Time, they realize, oh, they're in Eastern Canada time, so I better be ready for that time, and it'll put it in the correct time on their calendar to reflect, because they're in Central Time. So just on their calendar. Questions so far? I guess not. Okay.
Is there an option for actually having more than one time zone? Like if you've got people in a couple of time zones?
Time zone wise? No, it'll basically show them what time zone you're in. So everybody's in a separate time zone, right? You're the person sending the email with the time zone that you are having the meeting at. You're the person organizing. You're the person that matters.
I see. Okay.
Everybody else needs to, yeah.
So you're sending it in your time zone.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just go to the. Let's make sure. Okay. Oh, and in the review here, if you want to review something, you have a check. You want to check your spelling. You have a theorist. You have research. If you want to do a word count, language, all these things, you can work with these.
Is there anything new in the response options? There was a button up there for response options. Is there anything new in that?
So when you're
sending an invitation,
right,
and you want to have replies, you want to have people say accept. Can you change that?
Accept, tentative, or there's no other options.
That's the only option.
Yeah, accept, tentative, or decline. They will get. If they tentative, they'll stay in their calendar until they decide they want to know what they want to do with it. Because maybe they're not sure. Not sure if they're going to come to the meeting or not. So they'll have Yeah, that's basically the safest way if you're not sure about a meeting.
And then for the tracking, can you just click on it for tracking? Or
Yeah, you can
go
view
back
this.
to your original email and open it up to see the tracking?
No, you would go to the calendar. So you go to calendar, you double click on the appointment, and then you can view a tracking status.
Okay.
So did they respond? None of them have responded to this.
Okay.
And that way you can see what's going on with these people. Okay. So
Trying to ask questions.
okay. Let's go to I think we go to the dash. More questions. 4 questions. Somebody's asking a question here. No, we don't. It's not saved. Okay, so the question is, when it archives, do the emails get saved on my hard drive or the mail server? At Mosaic, we do not save anything on our mail server as far as archives because we don't have the space, frankly. And therefore, they will be saved on your computer when you are archiving. If you don't have the rooms button, so I would probably have to look at your screen to troubleshoot to see why you don't have the rooms button. Now, let's make sure that if you're having issues viewing, let's just say, let's go back to your, if you're having issues, make sure that your views in your calendar, in your Outlook, so if I don't have rooms, so make sure that the views are correct. So everything's in normal view. This is turned off. Everything is in normal view. So that could be also normal view. So if that's fine, if it's all in normal view, you can't see it, I'd have to troubleshoot it for you, and I can go through with you to see what is causing it to be missing. There could be just a simple view that's not available to you. Now, we can go to one of these meetings. Let's close this meeting out. Perfect, okay. So let's just close this pane. Let's go to this room. Okay. So, double click, right? So, so once you invite, so when you click on the invite attendees, then your rooms will pop up. Have you clicked on the invite attendees before? So when you click on the appointment, then you'll get the rooms location. Invite attendees, and then you'll get the rooms. Have you tried that already? And make sure your room finder is turned on as well. So make sure that's selected as well, to make sure in case that doesn't come up. Let me see what he says. Okay, sorry. Should be fine. So I just want to see the response here. Okay. Dashboard. 6 questions. Okay. So we'll have to troubleshoot later offline. So send me an email directly, and I'll troubleshoot with you on your computer to see what the issue is there. But generally, that's the case, okay? So send me an email to me. It's danny.elcorey@mosaic.com. So I'll type it out for you in the... And then we'll go through it together, and we'll see why that's the case. In case anybody else has a question, I just sent it to everybody.
Tuesday.
Okay.
1 o'clock.
Okay, so we're just going to go back to the PowerPoint presentation. So we discussed calendar scheduling. So setting up reminders. So you basically, when you go to your, let's go back here. Let me close all. Let me minimize this. Where are we going here?